It's November 2024. I hit upload on my latest video about the Blazar Remus lenses. I then watched the video back to ensure it's okay before release. A bit blurry, but I reckon it's a YouTube issue. It'll get better once it processes. Famous last words. I checked the video a day after it's been out. It's gaining traction with views, but it looks terrible. How could this happen? This video wasn't the result of one bad decision, it was the culmination of many which led here. Like one of my favorite shows growing up used to say,
disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel those fateful decisions in the final seconds from disaster.
So if you're struggling with your YouTube uploads, let me show you how to fix them as we count down my final seconds from disaster. If you're looking for the TLDR, you can use the chapter markers below, but if you're here for the journey, let's dive in. It all begins with my new YouTube lighting setup. Somewhere in 2024, I decided it was time for a refresh. This room has changed significantly over the years, and as the space has decreased, I wasn't able to use the same lighting and angles of the past. Therefore, with some experimenting, I ended up with this. I was happy. It made the best use of this space while also losing the RGB blue that's always felt a bit too techie. I was going for something a little bit more refined. But there was a problem. YouTube doesn't like darkness. It's almost impossible to comprehend how much data YouTube ingests on a minute-by-minute basis. It's therefore not hard to imagine the engineers over there have spent years perfecting the best compression algorithms to ensure the ideal balance between image quality and file size. It's clear through my own and others' testing, one of the sacrifices they've chosen is to reduce the amount of information kept in the darker parts of the image. Gradations of grey become clumped together into a single colour, which appears as artifacting or macro blocking. The more darker parts in your image, the more obvious this becomes. The solution? Keep your YouTube setup brighter. It's clear the algorithm prioritizes these areas and will preserve more information, preventing this artifacting. Of course, it may not bother you as much, but for me, this was strike one. It's October, and I'm sitting down to record the talking head part of my video. As a part of this new setup, I've gone all out and decided to use my Film Vespid 35mm as the main lens for all my videos going forward. Sounds like a cool idea, but there's plenty of problems with this approach. Having only manual focus is of course a challenge. Even at T2.8, the amount of depth of field on a full frame sensor is razor thin and relies on me standing really still. So I bring out the DJI Focus Pro system, which in itself requires a bit of setup, plus rigging on the Sony FX6, which it is very poorly suited to. But okay, we're finally ready to go. It looks to be in focus, but unlike a photography lens, cinema lenses like the Vespid Primes are softer by design. It blends modern plus vintage optics, which create an image usually more pleasing than the clinical sharpness found in most photography lenses. But therein lies the issue. The image is now softer from the outset. Strike two. However, it's about to get a lot worse with my next decision. I'm in DaVinci Resolve, about to export my file to YouTube. The first mistake was exporting in HD rather than 4K. I'm not sure what possessed me to do this. YouTube is now most viewed on TVs, which these days last I checked are typically 4K. Plus on a technical level, YouTube processes 4K videos in a higher quality codec known as VP9 compared to 1080p videos, which get a much worse compression treatment. But okay, I'm now on a collision course with one of my worst quality YouTube uploads. Everything hinges on the output codec. And I chose wrong. Something I wish I'd tested before exporting this video is YouTube does not like H.265 and seems to process it worse than H.264, something Gerald Nadan has also found in his own excellent testing. To me, this makes little sense. H.265 is the newer, more efficient version of H.264. If you've got a modern computer which has the hardware to decode it, I'd most likely recommend it over its outdated counterpart. But it seems to lead to much worse quality, and even YouTube's own support documents recommend H.264. Strike three, and I'm out. This has been the worst quality upload in recent memory, and I vowed to ensure it never happened again. So here's how I improved my YouTube upload quality. Starting with the set, we're now much lighter again, and that blue backlight has also made a return to increased light levels. I'm now filming on this Sony 35mm f1.8 lens rather than the Vespid. It's sharper than the Vespid, and autofocus also saves the massive headache of rigging a DJI Focus Pro. That last part is more for my own sanity. I'm also not saying you can't use cinema lenses. If you're following all the other steps, you'll have much better results than what I had for my video. I'm just saying the extra effort might not be worth it unless you really desire that particular look. Then for the technical side, I now always upload in 4K. If you walk away with one thing from this video, upload in 4K if you want the best quality here on YouTube. Some people even upscale their 1080p content just so it gets the much better codec. Trust me, it looks so much better. Finally, for the export itself, I no longer rely just on Resolve. I can't quite remember where I pulled this technique from, but I now export my video out as a 4K ProRes master file, bring it into Handbrake, which is a free video conversion app, convert it into H.264 with my preferred settings, and then upload it to YouTube after that. It might sound like a lot of extra work, but I find Handbrake extremely good at compressing files into H.264 with consistently better results than what I got from Resolve itself. The file sizes are also very small comparatively, and this makes it so much easier to upload onto YouTube and also store the file as well. So there you have it, from disaster to much better looking YouTube uploads. Just remember, it starts with your set design and capture of your footage. If you're using softer lenses or playing around with things like blooming or blurring, it becomes even more important to give YouTube a high quality 4K file from which it can re-encode your video and not lose too much of that information. You don't have to use Handbrake or another app if you don't want to, and there are so many tutorials here on YouTube which show you the best export settings in DaVinci Resolve or your editing software of choice. The only thing I'd recommend, which I didn't do late last year, is test and experiment to see what gives you the best results for your particular content. But that's gonna wrap it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below to what you do to achieve the best quality YouTube uploads. Like the video if you're enjoying the content, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
YouTube uploads don't just happen. They're a chain of critical events. Unravel the... Greg,
I just don't think this concept's gonna work.